Hey, this is Robert, and today I'm going to show you our Virtual Studio Series 2 After Effects template. It is a project that you can use in Adobe After Effects. You can use it in version CS3, CS4, CS5, CS6, or CC, which I guess is going to be the latest version from now on. If you open it up in anything other than CS3, it'll ask you to convert the file over to the newer version of After Effects and that kind of thing. It won't affect any kind of functionality or anything like that. You just hit the little OK button right there, and it'll open up your project and get you all set up and ready. The main scene here is set up in 3 different angles, and so we have final render angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. And so what I'm going to first do is go through and show you the different layers of the scene, and then I'm going to show you how to edit the project completely. So there are a lot of different areas that you can edit in this project. You can edit the footage that shows up in these animated monitors right here. You can edit the background monitors or take them out entirely if you don't like the way they look, or if they're too distracting for you. You can edit your lower thirds for text and that kind of thing. And then finally you can add in your own talent that you shoot on a green screen and then place into the scene, so they're in their little news area. So the first thing, we've got the first 2 layers on the timeline here for this angle 1 is lower third 1 and lower third 02, and you can turn the layers on and off by clicking the eyeball button right there. And so you can turn off the different layers, you can turn them on. And so there's 2 different lower thirds that you can use in this scene. And so you can just choose which one you like, or choose not to have one at all. The next layer below that is your talent shot, and that is your talent layer right here. Which is where you will place your green screen, and I'll kind of come back to that and show you how to import a piece of green screen footage, key out the green in the shot, and then place them in the scene like that. The layers below that are animated monitors and stationary monitors that you can have within your scene. And so currently we have the left animated monitor right here showing, and I can turn that on and off, toggle it on and off, and then I can turn on the right animated monitor, or the center animated monitor, or the stationary TV. And all these monitors are independent, so you can scale and position and move them around as you need in the scene. So if you don't like the size of this monitor right here, or if you want to reposition it in place, then you can do that, and then you can just go in and scale it up or down, depending on how you'd like it. You can even have 2 monitors. If you wanted to have 2 separate animated monitors in the scene, then you could turn on both the right and left animated monitors and position them and scale them kind of the way that you want to. Same thing with the center or the stationary TV. You can move this around as you need in the scene, and scale it and position it and that kind of thing, or just take it out entirely if you don't need it. Right there. The next layer is the scene, the kind of little backdrop studio layer, and so you can toggle that kind of on and off. And then the next layer below that is a adjustment layer, and this layer is what adjusts the blur intensity of the background monitors. And so if I toggle that one on and off, you'll see that the background monitors come into focus, and if I toggle it back on, then they go back out of focus. And that is a blur effect that's applied to this adjustment layer, which causes all the layers below it to have that blur effect applied to it. And so if you want to adjust the amount of the blur effect in the background, then you can just select this layer, go to your effect controls, and change the amount of blurriness that shows up on that adjustment layer. So you can kind of fine tune that, depending on how you want it to look. The 2 layers below that are the compositions that contain all of the background monitors in the scene right there. And so you can completely turn them on or off if you'd like to. You can keep them on. You can move them around if needed, and that kind of thing. And then a little further down the line, I'll show you how to add in videos and other content that you can put into these background area so that you can have monitors showing the background there. Another thing that you can do is you can turn both of these monitors off, and you could drag in a background image which would show in this main area right here. Maybe you want a cityscape or you know, a landscape of some sort that shows kind of in this window area. Then you can import that and show it in this background area right there. So first thing, let me show you how to go in and add in your talent footage and then key out the green screen so that they'll show up in the scene cleanly. And you'll do that by importing a piece of footage into your project. And so first, let me grab a piece of footage that I can use. And you can just drag or import the footage in there like you normally do. Right there. And so you see we have a piece of footage with our talent on shot on a green screen, and we're going to add her into the scene here. And then I'm going to show you a couple tricks that you can use to maybe flip them around and use them in different ways in the scene. And so this layer right here is our talent shot. And so this is the composition that you want to add your talent into. And you can either double click this, this composition from within the timeline right there, or you can go up to the Edit Talent Green Screen Presenter folder right there, and that is your talent shot composition. So if I double click that, it opens up the talent shot composition, and then we'll just drag our green screen talent shot down onto the timeline. And so she shows up right there. The next thing that we need to do is to key out the green in this scene, and so to do that, you go to Effect, Keying. You can do this in a couple different ways. You can use the color range key, or there's a plugin that comes with After Effects called Keylight that I like. That does a really good job of removing the green, but retaining kind of some of the details in the hair and making a nice clean key. And so if you apply that Keylight effect to your clip, in the effects controls area, there's a screen color option, and you want to select the eyedropper tool and then just come and sample a portion of the green in the green screen of your talent shot right there. And you'll still see, generally, unless you have an absolutely perfect key, you'll still see a little bit of maybe the green or some different areas that need to be finely adjusted and that kind of thing. And you can do that in some of the different settings. You can adjust the white clip and the black clip, and those will increase or reduce the key so that you can get a better key on your subject there. Now you can kind of see that we've got the background is transparent, and so we can see our little placeholder guy back there. And so you can either delete this layer or just turn him off with the eyeball icon and hide him from the view. And so if I go back to angle 1 composition, you'll see that our talent has been placed into the scene. And she's a little bit off center, so I might move her over just a little bit. And you can just do that by selecting the Edit Talent Shot composition and then just using your keys to position her, just a little bit to the left, just like that. And so that's pretty much it. That's pretty easy to add a person into the scene. And so the next thing I'll do is change the lower third text. And you can do that two ways. You can double click this lower third composition and then click the Edit Text button composition, or you can go up here to Edit Lower Third. We're looking at Lower Third 02, and so we'll go to the Edit Lower Third 02 folder, and there is a Edit Lower Third Text composition inside that folder. And so if you double click that composition, then you'll see the two, or actually 3 different text areas that you can adjust. And so we'll just add our person's name right there. And then you can change the text on the bottom as well. Like that. And then we do have a little secondary section of text right there. You can either change that to something that you want, or if you just want to turn it off, you can turn it off as well in the scene. like that. And so if we go back to the our angle 1 final render, then you'll see that we've changed the text right in there, and then the secondary text below right there. We do have this ticker text that shows up right down here, and you can change that right here where it says edit news ticker text. And so if you double click that, you'll see that there's just one long line of text that you can add, and you can change to whatever you want. So some people might use it for headlines or news or that other kind of information that is showing up while the presenter is talking. The final thing that you can change on this lower third is the logo that shows up in this area right here, this little globe. And so if you go double click the edit lower third to logo, then you'll see this is where the little earth icon is, and you can just replace that with your logo if you'd like, or you could have the world on top, and you could put a logo on top of that as well, and then it'll show up in this area right there. The lower third 01 is pretty much the same thing. If I turn that one on, we would go to the edit lower third 01 folder, and then we have edit text for lower third 01, and so you could change the text right there, edit the globe or the logo, and that's it, I think, for that one. It doesn't have ticker text on that secondary, or on that first lower third 01. So just have the text there, text there, text there, and then the logo. Those can all be customized. So pretty easy to make adjustments and to make changes and that kind of thing. Next thing is how to change the content that shows up in this monitor right here, and so we have these animated monitors, and the way to change the graphics that show up in that main monitor is to go over to the edit footage monitors folder right there. And so we have 3 folders inside this folder. We have the left background monitors, which are these background monitors in here, the right background monitors, which are the blue monitors right there, and then we have the main and animated monitors, which are your animated foreground monitors in the scene. And so if I drop that down, you'll see a main composition called Edit Main Monitor Footage, and that is the same footage that's showing up in this animated monitor area right there. So if I double click that, then we'll be inside this composition. You can see this text right there, and all we have to do is basically import a piece of footage and drag it into this composition. So let me do that right now. So I'll drag and drop a animation into my project area, and then I'm going to drag the footage down into the main monitor footage composition on top of the other graphics there, like that. And so you'll see that's in that composition. And so now if I go back to angle 1 and I scroll ahead a little bit, then you'll see that the monitor footage changed to whatever I put into that monitor. Okay. The next thing that you might want to do is, if you want to show some graphics and animations or footage or anything like that in these background monitors, then you would want to go to this, you would want to go to the same thing, Edit Footage Monitors folder, and then we have our left background monitors and the right background monitors. And so the left background monitors, we have 1, 2, all the way through to video 22, and those are just 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down the line there. And the same thing for the blue monitors on the right. In this blue, or in this right background monitors folder, we have all the different videos that make up this right there. And so let me import, I'm just going to import one piece of footage into that background just so you can kind of see how it looks. So I'm going to drag another piece of footage. And then we have, so I'm going to double click this background video 01 right there. And then I'm going to drag my, my piece of B-roll footage into the composition for background video 01. Scale it up a little bit because it's not quite 1080 right there. And then if I go back to angle 1, you'll see that that first video, it's just kind of a sliver right there. That first video is showing up in that monitor area right there. And so then you basically just do that for all the different videos. So you can have multiple different videos, animations, color bars, that kind of thing, anything that you want to show in that background. And so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to speed up the video so that you don't have to sit there and wait for me to do it. And I'm just going to use the same piece of footage over and over and over again, although yours might be, different pieces of footage. So now if I go back to our main angle 1 final timeline, then you'll see that all these background monitors have been replaced with the same footage. So now I'm going to do that on the right side, so bear with me. And so now if I go back to the main timeline again, now we have footage in the background monitors for both sides. And these, the background monitors as well as the animated monitors, all those compositions are referenced in all the different angles. So if you've made the changes in the main timelines, then they will carry over to the other backgrounds. Same thing with the talent shot. You can see that we have our talent over on this area, and so even though we're on this angle 2, you still get the background monitors in the right place, and the graphics or animation or video that you've shown in the main monitor area as well. And same thing for angle 3, and we can move our talent shot around a little bit so that she shows up right there. One other little trick that you might not know about is if you shoot your talent on a green screen and they make a gesture in a certain direction, like you can kind of see that she is on this side and she's gesturing this way, but maybe we want to have the monitor on this side and we'd like to flip her. If you have a talent shot where the person isn't wearing something that has a word on it or has a logo or a graphic or anything like that, they're just kind of wearing a solid or a patterned shirt or something like that, then you can flip that footage horizontally so that you can flip them around to the other side so that you can position them in the way that you need to. So for this lady right here, I'm actually going to go down to transform and go down to scale. I'm going to click this little link button so that we're not scaling proportionally, and then I will change the width to -100%, and that will flip her horizontally in the scene so that now I can reposition her where she needs to go. And you can change the order of your layers as well on your timeline. So she was kind of behind the TV right there a second ago, and I can adjust this layer up to the top so that she's on top of the TV, so it kind of looks like she's behind it, especially if she's doing some sort of gesture where she kind of gets in front of the monitor and that kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. Once you're ready to render, you can either hit Control M on your keyboard, or you can go to File, Export, and either add to the Media Encoder QE or add to the render queue. And then if you click that, then that will take you to the render queue, which is where you can choose your format, AVI, QuickTime, etc. You can also tell it where to render out your final file. And then once you're ready to go, you can hit render. Another thing is the files themselves are set up for up to a 30-minute program. So you can see that the each angle 1, angle 2, angle 3 are all set up for up to 30-minute render times. You can extend that if you'd like to. It's not that big of a deal. You just have to adjust the composition links and that kind of thing. But they're set up already for kind of a longer form program if you need to, or if you just need a 5-minute program, you can also do something like that. You'll just want to adjust your work area right here to the length of your show for the most part, and then you can render out that length of time on your timeline. You can also show the lower thirds on the screen more than once if you'd like to. So maybe you want to show your lower third once every 5 minutes or something like that. Then you can just duplicate this lower third layer and change where it shows up on the scene by dragging it further along in the scene like that. Of course, our talent footage is just a pretty quick clip, so it only shows up for a second. If you have any questions, just click the link below in the description, or if you're on our site, just get in touch with us on the site, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.